Hello, friends. This is Sherry Lynn, and I cannot wait for you to see this trailer. From the Eyes of Wisdom is the name of the project. We take experienced elders and we pair them up with passionate high school seniors, and we just start this wonderful conversation. When I was thinking about how to explain the project, I saw this quote from an author. His name is Rowan Williams. I must watch the elders and learn the shape and rhythm of being Christian from those who have walked further and worked harder. That is what this whole thing is all about. And here's a little bit of what you'll see and hear.
My hand had a terrible accident.
Oh no.
And it was actually ruined.
I'm so sorry.
Well, it was it was a tragedy. I couldn't even understand. I was still thinking young. I was not a very sophisticated 21-year-old, and I thought my life is over. I will not get my job. I can't do anything. I met the Lord while we were studying the Gospel of John, and it was such a shock to find that there was somebody who knew what I was going through and loved me and cared about me. And
Did you always want to be a nurse?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
From what age? What age can you remember?
Do you remember I was going to go to Kentucky
Yeah.
and be a nurse on horseback
Okay.
and learn the language of the hill people,
Okay.
and they'd give me a cow and a horse in a barn.
While I was in the Air Force, I did have the opportunity to lead 3 different guys to the Lord.
Really?
I did.
Okay.
It was usually at a time when their life was at a crisis, and they were willing to listen. But my big regret, and this is a big regret, is that I led them to the Lord, and then I didn't disciple them. And aside from just a word now and then, and they kind of dried up.
All of our husbands then were given different assignments.
Okay.
So they were preparing for war, and they had all of these dependents and children, and what were they going to do with them?
I hear footsteps behind me. And I go, what's going on? I turn around. Here's Corpy, the pastor, or the evangelist, coming after me.
Chased you.
Oh, man, now what's going on? But all he did was he said, hey, when you're playing basketball and you try to make a shot and you miss it, you go sit down. I said, no. No, you don't do that. You either try to get the rebound or you get it and pass it to somebody else, or something. You're still in the game. And that's the way it is in your Christian walk. Something goes wrong, don't worry about it. You make a mistake, don't worry about it. Pick it up, go keep forward. God's still with you.
they hired me to do some drawings and working with the Department of Education for the nation. This woman was in Longview, Washington.
Wow.
And so I was illustrating her books that she was writing on how to include people with disabilities and mainstream them. That was called mainstreaming back then.
Okay.
We became really good friends.
Yeah.
And I think she came to know the Lord. Hopefully, because I was so still on fire for the Lord.
Yeah.
And I always said he's the one that did everything.
A lot of my friends in college, they're still kids, but you here, you've seen racial discrimination, discrimination based on sex. You've had to evacuate your house. You're coming up on your second kid. You've seen some terrible things and, just a lot of things in general. Do you feel like you really, you must have really had to grow up really fast.
Oh, I did. Those things were all life experiences that made me who I am today.
So 2 years out, but your whole career basically was teaching and you wouldn't change a thing.
I wouldn't change a thing. You have an opportunity to change lives.
Yeah.
If you have one piece of advice, she's gonna take that index card to college. She's gonna get. She'll be 45 years old and look at me like I remember what Carolyn said to me.
Well,
What would that one
Bill,
for her
always
life?
give the Lord the first part of doing any project. Tell him that you want his help in doing it, because he's the master creator. He created the world and all of these incredible things that we see, and he has that power to help you if you ask.
I want my children and my grandchildren to understand a little bit. About what has happened. What happened to me. But at each of those places, I grew stronger in my faith. My faith became real.
Just trust God. He's got you there. He knows your name, and he knows what he wants to do through you. And he'll do it if you let him. Yeah. You don't have to have all the answers. Don't be afraid to ask other people for help.
It was so important to not think about yourself, but to think about these people and what they do and how you can help them at this place that they're point at, and then they can stretch out beyond that. You need to get to learn those people, who they are and what they believe.
I can tell how much he loves you, and I can tell you love him too.
Yes,
People
I do.
sometimes said to me, we can see Jesus in you. And I do see Jesus in you.